Hi guys, it's Dave at the Humble Trekker channel. Today I'm going to be checking out the HX5 outdoors knife, otherwise known as the Rock, a tactical survival utility knife. Let's take a look at it in the Kydex sheath it comes with. Very secure retention. Nice Kydex sheath, about a 2.5 inch belt loop can fit in there. It's got a couple of extras on the sheath, a ferro rod and a diamond sharpening surface here. It's a 9cm D2 steel, full tang, with the tang ending in a hammer pommel which has got a textured surface. We'll be testing out the hammer pommel later. And so you see this is one piece of steel coming through to the hammer pommel here, which gives it a good heft. It's a good weighty blade. No mistaking, this is full tang. There's a special section here for striking a ferro rod. Some gym pin here on the back. It's a good full grip G10 handle scales, which are removable. And there's a choil position. It does come with this sharpening surface here on the edge of the Kydex sheath. Probably best used for lightly touching up your blade in a stropping type way, just to bring it back up to sharpness after use. Here comes with a ferro rod which fits snugly and tightly into the sheath. An all-round good sturdy sheath knife system. We can check out that hammer pommel with a coconut crack. I gave it my best shot. I can't crack the coconut with a hammer pommel. Let's give it one more try. Yo, det fungerade, as we say in Sweden. It worked. I didn't think I thought I was going to have to end up batoning through it. I was just about to go and get a baton when I removed the camera. But there, it did crack it. Took a number of attempts. 5, we can count back, 5 to 6 attempts. Ooh, I'm losing my juice. Ah, good. Well, I suppose we can say he gave it a controlled crack. You don't want to obliterate your coconut. It's actually, we'll say, we'll make this a feature, not a bug. It took 5 or 6 hits to crack it, but then you get a nice controlled crack in it. And you get 2 halves of your coconut. Probably a good way to cut your fingers off this, doing this. Delicious. You seen Papillon when he has to eat the whole of the coconut, so the guards don't know he's getting help from outside. I've never eaten a whole coconut. And again, I've never been on Devil's Island. Let's try something else. Papillon's a great film, actually, isn't it? Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman. What was that, back in the 70s film? It's actually, if you think about it, now I'm thinking about it, it just came to me there. I always think about Papillon when I'm eating coconuts, because of the way he survived in the prison cell. And actually the whole film is a bit of a survival story. An unconventional, but definitely a survival story, how he survives in the wild, because he does a lot of survival in the wild, jumps off that cliff, counts the waves backwards and forwards. I'm going to have to check it out again. Awesome film, Papillon. If you've not seen it, check it out. It's about a French guy, Steve McQueen, who gets sent off to Devil's Island, I think it's Guyana, in South America, which is a colony of the French where they used to send all the criminals. And it's this story of how he escapes. Fantastic film. Anyway, back to the knife. Let's check out the fire making capabilities with the ferrocerium rod. I've got some fat wood here, harvested myself. We've seen the hammer in action, seen it make some fire. Let's see the blade working a bit more now. I'm going to make a maul or a camp mallet, whatever you want to call it. Basically a hammer, maul, mallet instrument out of this piece of pine. To do that I'm going to need a secondary baton to help me build it, which I'm going to build out of this piece of, maybe it's alder. So I'm going to cut this in half. Then I'm going to go to work on this. So I want to basically cut this long limb in half, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to beaver chew around it, and then I'm going to imagine as if I was doing this for real, because I am doing it for real, right? This isn't virtual reality. So I'll get through as far as I can, or as far as I need to, with the knife. I wonder if it chops me well. And then I'll snap it off, so we can get to work on them all. What I want with my camp maul is I want a handle section here, so I want the handle to be like a good gripping diameter for my hand, so a bit like this. Then I want the rest of this large limb to be in place, so it's going to be, yeah, I'm going to trim it down to about here, have a handle here, and the rest will be used for as a malleting stakes around the camp place and stuff like that. I'm going to start off with a guideline of how deep I want to go down with a handle, so I'll just cut all the way around the circumference just to give myself a guide of how far down I want to come. Now I'm going to do a cross baton, a cross grain baton, to give myself basically a shelf or an edge to do the longitudinal baton into. This pine, it's probably not the best thing for a baton, but it will last for long enough, for a maul, sorry, but it will last long enough. It's absolutely dripping in sap. So when you put the knife into it, it kind of gets stuck. It's like a glue consistency between the grains. And I've not actually mentioned, but this knife is a full flat grind with quite a large, or bevel down here is very large, which is nice. It makes it easy to sharpen and easy to touch up on that diamond rod that comes on the sheath. So far I'm enjoying it, enjoying using it. I've had it for a couple of months and I've been messing around with it. Now I've got around to doing the actual review. The ferrocerium rod, I saved using that till today because I wanted it to be fresh on this video. But it's actually one of those ferrocerium rods that is very soft. It was throwing out globules of that burning material. Nice ferrocerium rod. Now to make the handle of the maul, start to shape it, what I do is I start to take off shavings from the edge. And obviously this is only a 9cm blade, so you're kind of limited to how much material you can take off. There you go, you can see I actually sheared off there. I probably should do less talking and more concentrating. Typically for me, I prefer a wooden handled knife, more traditional type knife. This one is marketed as a tactical survival knife, which I guess it is. It's got that tactical look. It's got the weight. It's got a lot of weight. It's got a lot of weight in it. It's a very substantial blade when you feel it. I'll put the actual weight downstairs in the description box. But you know, with a full tank construction and that blade that goes right through to this big 3/4 of an inch width there, which is just a solid piece of D2 steel, so obviously it's going to come with a bit of weight. I think it's a good option. If this type of knife is your style, what you're looking for, it's available on GearBest, but the description box will contain a link where you can get this. And if I've got one available, there'll also be a, what's the word, a discount code. So far I'm liking it a lot. Like I said, it's not the type of knife I normally carry, but in the beautiful world of knives, why restrict yourself? So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm slowly cutting away the edges until eventually I'm going to get a, well, I barely took the bark off there. I'm going to get down to a, hopefully, circular, comfortable handle. I've actually stopped batoning and I'm just taking off wood with the carving motion, just to make sure that, well, just 'cause I think that's the best way I'm going to get a result here, because I was shearing off quite considerably. And now I'm going to go around again, cross batoning once again, because that's where I'm going to end up. I want to have a ledge that my longitudinal batons, so I've got my back to the camera guys, that's very rude, are going to end up at. Don't you love fresh wood? Beautiful. It's almost like you don't want it to dry out. Oh man, it's like a big ice cream. Back to work. So you basically, you kind of make a end out of a hexagonal type thing. You just keep going around taking off the corners. I do anyway. Absolutely eating up this wood, loving it. Even though it's a flat grind, which you don't normally associate with wood carving, it's doing a decent job. Which, if it's going to be a survival knife, it has to do a little bit of everything. When you're doing a lot of carving like this, it's a good test of the knife on its comfort, because you will get a lot of stress in your wrist and your forearms working away, removing a lot of wood like this. And a lot of that to do with how you grip the blade, how much work the blade is doing for you. And to be honest, I've removed a lot of wood and I'm getting fatigued there on the inside of the wrist there, but not more than I would expect. it's doing a good job. I think we're going to call it a day here, guys. I think this handle is good to go. I took this point here as a front and I've actually given it a slight oval. Now really a super comfortable grip is going to be where your finger can meet your thumb, sorry, can meet your forefinger. This is still a little bit wide, but I'm losing some light here and I want to finish the video up, so we'll call it a quits there for the video's sake. Plus this is very wet, so this is going to shrink down, and I'm thinking if I leave this 48 hours it's actually going to shrink down to the perfect size. If not, then I'll just shave off some more. So there you go. This is actually a two-handed hubba clubber. Captain Caveman, if you remember him. He would have been proud of this. Closing words on it. Sheath system. Kydex, factory Kydex. The extras. The ferrocerium rod, which throws big globules, fire making glory. The sharpening edge, diamond stone, which is not a joke. Sometimes I think some of these sharpening systems on knives are a joke, but you can find the bevel on this very easily, and then you don't want to go hard on it because obviously you don't want to, this is so narrow, if you got a down on it in the wrong way you can create a valley or groove in the edge. So make sure you always go, well, make sure you go, do whatever you want, but I would tend to be gentle and use a stropping covering the whole edge in one stroke. It does come sharp from the factory, but actually it did, as soon as you get it, if you get one of these, if you just do run it across here, that will just bring it up to a little bit of extra sharpness. It can be a little bit sharper than it comes from the factory. That sharpened bit there, very good for working on your ferrocerium rod. This jimping, well, to be honest, I'm neither here nor there with jimping. I don't care if it's there or if it's not, it never feels, I've never had a knife that gets in my way, but I've not had a lot of knives with jimping. Here, you look at it, you make your own mind up if you think that's aggressive or gentle. You saw me messing around on that fairly large pine limb. To be honest, I didn't even notice it was there. A hammer, bit of a gimmick, but bang. The way it's constructed, you've got one solid piece of steel. So if you want it, it took a while to get through the coconut, but maybe if you've got walnuts, bang bang, it'll be good for that. The G10 scales, you see it's a squarish handle. And I've spent some time going through that pine limb there, and it's comfortable. I don't think you get a knife much more comfortable than this, to be honest. The overall styling, it's got that black tactical look, survival coolness. It's a little bit of a deviation from my normal style. Overall, I'm very impressed. For the money, I do not think this knife is going to let you down. Well, not even for the money. Just full stop, this knife is not going to let you down. Rides comfortably on the hip. It's sharp. It's got extras on the sheath that are actually usable. It looks good. I'm giving it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching this video. If you're a subscriber, thanks very much for your continued support. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you like what you see after you've checked out a few more of my videos, smash down on that subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy.